Oh, but these, I have not seen these in 40 some years. Come with me on an epic toy hunt in San Diego and let's find the toys from our past at great places to shop. Let's go. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and today we're going on a toy hunt in San Diego. Now, this is Ninja Exchange Expo, and this is in the Carlsbad Mall in San Diego every weekend. This takes place on Saturday and Sunday. I'll throw the information in my description below, but this place is huge. Tens and tens of vendors just packed to the gills. One of my favorite shops is right here, Evolution Toys. The owner is super cool. You know, let's just take a walk through and look at it. We have some Modern Joes, a lot of Marvel in here. But we're going to see some things on this toy hunt that I have not seen in a long time. Toxic Crusaders. Love the packaging on a lot of these. And I'm an in-the-box collector, so I do admire packaging. My brother would love these, the Turtles. And if you can't afford the big ghost, here's the small ghost. Oh, Jabba the Hutt. I have the original, the one that Hasbro made. I think they've made 3 iterations at least. You can't go wrong. I love what they're doing with the new He-Man also, but you know, you can't beat the old He-Man, of course. And there's something up here that I saw. Yeah, here it is, the M.A.S.K Darth Vader, $95 in case anybody wants to tackle that. There's an item right here, the Blob. I would love to have this on my office. My attitude changes. I just put up the Blob. But let's take a look at another space. This space has a lot of Joes and a lot of modern Star Wars. And they put up new things all the time. If anything comes out, it's going to be here. One figure in particular, and I love the design of this character. You know, I call it the Imperial Stormtrooper in Hoth battle gear, but now it's called the Snowtrooper. And next to it, we have Anakin in his bathrobe. and yeah, I know what they're going for. It's Anakin in his Force Ghost. But the face sculpting that they're doing now for the modern Star Wars, I think it's great. I mean, look at that. They even got that little Anakin smirk in there, which is great. But, you know, I call it the bathrobe because it looks like a bathrobe. And I do dig the chrysanthemum. I know that the retro line hasn't got that much love. I've been seeing a lot of commentary around that. But this one, in the droids, this is the new droids packaging, but it has the Boba Fett colored in the cartoon paint scheme, and I wish they gave us that back in the day on the original droids card line. That would have been fantastic. Used to have these when I was a kid. My brother was into Micro Machines a lot too when he was a kid. That was like in the late 80s, and if everyone knows those commercials.
This is the Micro Machine Man presenting the most midget miniature motorcade of Micro Machines. Each one has dramatic details, terrific trim, precision paint jobs, plus incredible Micro Machine pocket play sets. There's a police station, fire station, restaurant, service station, and more.
And then I had those toys. This is one of my favorite places to come because they mostly have vintage, and I'm going to show you a lot of great vintage in here. So particularly this space right here, I have bought here before, and it was a mini rig. I believe I bought my tripod laser cannon here. And so these, I'm guessing, are mint in sealed box because the prices that I'm seeing right now reflect these prices right here for mint in sealed box. And these are actually good prices for mint in sealed box. So I'm guessing, I didn't ask the owner, but I'm guessing that all of these are mint in sealed box. So let's check out, I think the speeder bike in particular was one I was looking at because this would be a price for a mint in sealed box. You can get these unsealed, complete with everything inside for about $100 if it wasn't sealed. Sealed, of course, is going to bring up the price. So that's why the $300 mark, it's making me guess that 1, it's sealed, and 2, that the flap hasn't been bent in the back. As you all know, if you collect those, the flap in the back is going to be kind of like perforated sometimes. Oh, the Littles, I used to watch that cartoon all the time. So the board games that came out back in the day were just beautiful. And I have a few board games from Star Wars ending in 1983 and lunchboxes. Talk about something that just takes you back to nostalgia is a lunchbox. I used to admire all my classmates and the variety of lunchboxes that they used to bring. And I remember seeing some of these actually. I remember that black hole lunchbox that one of my friends had. Here is the sticker album for the Topps cards. I've always wanted to get one. Have never gotten a sticker album before, but I've gotten plenty of these, the Topps cards. And if you saw my recent video about the Topps set, go watch that. I loved making that, but these are nostalgia to the max. You know, you can't go wrong collecting these, and you know, it's inexpensive. And there's the Voltron one. Right now I'm on the hunt for what a lot of people call Voltron 2, the Lion Voltron, but this is the vehicle car Voltron. That wasn't too popular. The Lion Voltron obviously is the more popular one they're making a movie of right now. And some things like the Micronauts that I don't remember seeing when I was a kid, but I remember seeing these. One of my cousins had pretty much everything, and it's nostalgia for me. Even though I didn't have too many Joes, everything that I see now takes me back to, you know, going to my cousin's house and playing. You know, Dreadnought Cycle, some great toys, and I'm guessing that all of these are mint in sealed box because of the prices. This collector that I'm at the booth of here, he does do a lot of mint in sealed box. So if you're at Ninja Exchange, come to this booth right here if you want to get your hands on mint in sealed box examples for fair prices. Oh, and I remember this too, the M.A.S.K Bullet and the M.A.S.K Vampire. I used to have, I don't know if I had these two, but I did have M.A.S.K toys when I was a kid. And yeah, the prices let me know that these are mint in sealed boxes, but you know, I did not ask. I should have, but I did not. It's just great to come here and see what's going on. And there's a space for card games, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, a lot of tournaments, and it's just a great place to gather with friends. Which record on here would be your go-to? If I told you, all right, if I told you to look at this wall, what record, one record, if I can give you one for free, would you get? Take a look at it. All right, I've already picked mine. And the one that I would get, if I had to listen to it over and over again, it would have to be this one. Pink Floyd, The Wall. Out of all of these, I could listen to that for days and days. And then, of course, the Beatles. Any Beatles. Like, I just think the Beatles are the greatest band of all time. So which one would you pick? Let me know. And this place is open, like I said, from Saturday and Sunday on the weekends. Just a lot of vendors, a lot of variety in here. I like walking through here. I like talking to people, even though when I have a camera in my hand, people don't usually talk to me. It's usually when I have the camera down that people will come up and talk to me, which is cool because I like seeing what other people are collecting. For me, it's therapy. You know, it's therapeutic. After a hard week of work or whatever, you just come here, you kind of just let it all go and you see what's cool and you talk to people and, you know, you see cool things like this. And for me, the art of 3D printing is pretty cool. I've always wanted to get one. I do dabble in 3D, but just some of the art that people are able to make in their office, in their home office, is pretty cool. And I really dig seeing cosplayers being able to make movie studio props, movie studio toys. But look at that. That's pretty cool. I love seeing art. I love going to toy shows and seeing artists and what they're doing. Not through a studio, but just through their own imagination. And this was part of Unstoppable Collectibles. You've probably seen these ad nauseum. And the reason why I'm showing this one is because I thought this one was very fairly priced. And this is the Ghost. It's sealed. It does have everything inside it. And I've seen these on eBay selling for about $700, both complete and inside the cardboard box. And I want to get a good idea of what this one is. See, this one is $800. I've seen them go as low as $700, but then you have to factor in shipping. So if you're able to get one, I guess, in person to inspect it and see what's inside, even if you want to keep it sealed or if you want to open it. So yeah, somebody had just bought it and now they were assembling it just to make sure everything was there. Man, I saw this over at Comic-Con and it was so huge, but I also wanted to show you guys these. I think these were so cool. You know, to me, they're a little bit expensive. You know, I don't think I can justify buying a pair of shoes for like $500 or something like that, but I would buy these. The Turtles, that shoe looks pretty cool. But yeah, $500 for a shoe, I don't know if I would buy that. They look cool though. And the face sculpt on this was cool. Michelle Pfeiffer was my crush back in the 80s and 90s. Mostly from Grease 2, if you guys remember Grease 2. I come here to the Batcave all the time. Don't really collect Batman, but they have more than Batman here just because of the nostalgia that you're going to see. So for $200, which I think is a great price, you can get the Lego Batman ship. But this is like a toy museum, you know, just the die-cast cars that this collector has for sale is cool. So I know a lot of Batman fans. And this store does have a lot of classic Legos and Legos that just, man, if I had these when I was a kid, it would be so cool. And a lot of the Japanese Transformers releases. And I'm guessing, no, those aren't mint in sealed box because I don't see the foam in there. You know, this is called the Batcave. You better have a lot of Batman in here. And this place had a lot of Legos and Batman. So if you're looking for anything Batman, whether it be from the 60s, there's a shaving kit. I would have used that when I was a kid. I used to love using these Viewmasters when I was a kid. I had one with a lot of cartridges. This is very cool. It's a signed copy of Dances with Wolves. And this is one of my favorite movies ever. When I was a film student, I studied this movie so much. And I actually went to a talk to go see Kevin Costner talk about this movie. And yeah, it's signed by the author. Wow, it's the things that you find in here that you pretty much won't find in a regular antique store. But you'll find it here because it's so... God, I would actually buy that. This was my favorite figure. $10. You know, pretty much kept up with inflation. I believe I bought this back in the day for about $2.99, $3 at the most. And it's pretty much kept up with inflation. So it's worth the same as it was back then. So you can actually collect these for not expensive prices at all. You know, they're pretty much worth what they were back then, which is sad because I know a lot of collectors who bought these thinking that, you know, they're going to increase in price, and they really didn't. Which makes them so fun to collect today because they are so affordable, and you can do a complete collection for not a lot of money. And I do think these look great. I mean, check out, you know, Chancellor Valorium. Great sculpting, great figures. You know, I know it's the buff era was the Power of the Force 2, which they eventually, scaled back. I wanted to show you guys these die-cast trains, electric trains. Here, the Lionel trains was something that was a staple in my childhood and something that I remember getting for Christmas one year and then setting it up in my uncle's house and just playing with those for days and making models. And it was just a good time because it was something that, you know, as a kid you can put together on your own, but it's really something that you and your mom or you and your dad or you and your siblings do together. You know, putting these things together is not just opening it up, laying down the track and running it. It's like you have to, you know, it's like your first little kind of entrance into being an engineer. You know, you have to put these things together. You have to know how they work. You have to know how the electrical on-off switch works, and putting together the models which go around your track, you know, being careful not to super glue your fingertips together, you know. But you do that with your parents, you know, you do that with an older sibling or something like that. But it's just so, it opens up your imagination so much because you're building a world. And I think that's what's missing in toys today is that world building, you know, that we're kind of missing today. I haven't gotten into minifigs. The only minifig that I do have is Ahsoka and some stormtroopers that were gifted to me. But the Ahsoka I did buy. And I know that there are a lot of rare minifigs. That is a whole different world. But if I was to collect Lego, it would be collecting minifigs. My sister and I used to love reading Garfield. And I believe we did have some of these mini figurines. We had the books, definitely. But yeah, me and my sister would always go to toy book fairs, and one of us would get a Garfield book. And we used to have some of these McDonald's glasses. I did sell mine. The one where they're both in the canoe. Yeah, you see it right there in the front. The canoe where they're both paddling in opposite directions. I'm easy to get along with when things go my way. I believe I sold that. I don't think I have it anymore. I believe every child in the 70s and 80s had those. And I do remember these. So these are the cartridges, and they show little movies. And you put them in the Fisher-Price Movie Viewer Theater. You slide them in, and they're bricks. They're huge bricks. But, you know, it's so cool because I believe my library had these. And you can just sit down and choose a brick and watch something. And for $15, you can get an ice tray. Although this is a really big ice tray. I would make it into a Jell-O mold. That's what I would do. No ice tray, I would do a Jell-O mold. What say you? This is really cool. The General. It's a huge box too. And you can stage your action figures up there. But here's what I wanted to show you. So this is the Hoth Ice Planet Adventure set. But it's missing the flaps. Yeah. And it's also empty inside. So, you know, something that I would not buy because the flaps are missing. But if you're looking for one, you can probably make a deal on that if you're missing it. Just imagine getting that for, wow, $2,500. New open box. I hope it's complete. Huge. Getting that for Christmas when you were a kid must have been glorious. My brother collects, or used to, not collect, he used to get turtles for his birthdays and stuff like that. And these are action figures I think are just absolutely gorgeous. And of course, I am starting my He-Man run. And a lot of the prices I'm seeing here look pretty good if they're complete. And that's why I'm not up to date and studious enough on these to know if these prices are correct and if they are complete. So I didn't have like a little book with me or a website that I can go to see if those things were complete. That's something that I will do in the future because I would just love to know when I see a figure, knowing the price, knowing it's complete, and knowing if it's in good condition. And this was something that I used to watch as a skater all the time. I probably started skateboarding in 1985, 1986, which was the end of my action figure wanting. By that time, I wanted skateboards and stuff like that. So Future Primitive, Search for Animal Chin, those are my go-tos. Here we're seeing a lot of G.I. Joe nostalgia. Like I said, I used to go to my cousin's house and play with these. $50 for loose. I don't know if that's the going rate. Not to say that you can't come here and negotiate prices, because you can. In my mind, when I think of G.I. Joe, I think of this first Joe. Can't see the price too clear. Looks like $40. But if it's complete, you know, this is what I think of when I think of Joes, like the first G.I. Joe wave. That's what I think of. I think they're absolutely gorgeous figures. But this, the Cobra Emperor, I think this is a weird looking figure, but it's a cool looking figure, you know? I think G.I. Joe wasn't afraid to experiment and, you know, go beyond just military, and they started going into like the supernatural, which I thought was cool because it gave a variety of toys, and not only in the toys but the cartoons. I really liked that. And here we have M.A.S.K. I had at least 2 M.A.S.K. figures when I was a kid because I do remember them being in my humble toy chest back when I was a kid. Now here is where I come to party. You know, the micro collection is something that I did have when I was a kid. I only had one, but I still have the die-cast figures. And here we see some incomplete Star Wars figures. And I've always wanted to go on a beta run to see if I can get figures for $1 or $2 and just complete an entire package. Now, here's something that you don't see very often on loose on their own is the coins. Those were for decent prices as well. Like I said, you can come here, and if a figure is a little bit too much, I think you can talk it down at least $5. That's what's so good about coming to places like this where the owners are. You know, if you see a figure that you know is priced a little too high, you can bring them down, because at the end of the day, they do want to move inventory at fair prices. They have to make money, and you want to add these in your collection. And these are some good complete figures here. I do have some loose Jabbas from my childhood. And this is really cool. The Biker Scout weapon. Really, really cool. Don't know if it works. Didn't try it out. That's a really good looking land speeder. And that looks like a complete catapult. Really, really good condition. That's the original string. That's pretty good. $58 though. I wonder if that's too high. I believe it is a little bit too high. We'll have to see. But like I said, you can always negotiate it down. And then this is Slave 1 with what looks like a complete untarnished Han Solo for $70, but it is missing the plank that is supposed to be a little black covering right there. Oh, but these, oh my goodness. I have not seen these in 40-some years. Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. On the record, I had the first Star Wars one on record, and I also had it on cassette. But come on, I had to ask the owner if I could at least see those albums and see how much they are. So he was selling them for $12 each. They're all complete. They're all in great condition. And he said that he would give them to me for $10 each. Oh, but look at these. And if anybody remembers the sound of the narrator, and it is just super nostalgic. The narrator, the music that's on there. And I did not have a VHS player. I mean, hardly anybody had a VHS player back in the 70s and early 80s. And I did have the Centurions back in the day. But I did tell that owner that I would come back and buy those, and it completely slipped my mind. I actually left without buying it. So apologies if you're the owner and watching this. I am going to come back and buy them. Hopefully they're still there. But yeah, there's a lot of things that you can find here. If you're just a lover of 80s toys, that's really cool. Christopher Lloyd. I wonder how much. Oh, it sold for $220. Not bad. I would buy that for $220, signed by Christopher Lloyd. And it is certified by JSA, who certifies signatures, and they usually do that at the show. You get your thing signed, you take it to JSA, and they verify it. That way, if you want to grade it, it's easier to grade. A lot of My Little Ponies, just a lot of 80s nostalgia here. And these right here, I used to love these when I was a kid, the Garbage Pail Kids. But just the collectible cards back in the day, the movie cards and everything like that. But nothing reigned more supreme, even above Star Wars cards, than Garbage Pail Kids. And I did love those so much. So thanks for really coming along with me and just having a great weekend with me. I am going to go on more hunts. I didn't find anything here towards my collection, but in the future collections that we're going to go on, we're going to see a lot more. So as always, my friends, thank you, and I will see you next time.